hope you are well. We're going to have a great show for you tonight. Everybody, is Kendéll Lenice, and welcome to Kendéll Lenice Live right here on YouTube. If you are watching live, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and subscribe to my channel. This channel is all about education, elevation, and entertainment, remixing the narrative in the Black community. Speaking about remixing the narrative in the Black community, today I have the pleasure of having Dr. Monica Y. Jackson and my brother, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. They're a part of T4 Virtual Summit. Now, this is Dr. Monica's baby, and I just want to read a little bit to you. People are walking wounded, suffering in silence, and feel like giving up. Excuse me. Let me hold this a little closer. Perhaps this is you or someone you know. The T4 Summit speakers understand all too well what it feels like to be hurt by people, places, and things that are near and dear. Each speaker authentically and candidly speaks about personal struggles, shame, while living in chronic physical pain, church hurt, sexual abuse, family trauma, financial setbacks, wayward children, miscarriages, children with autism, and mental health. Each other's practice realistic tips to overcome. The T4 Summit speakers will remind you that you are not the only one or alone. And if they can thrive after trauma, so can you. So this is what this summit is about. So I wanted to have Dr. Monica on here and my brother, Dr. Leroy, to just talk about the expectations of the summit and some of the things that will be said at this summit. I think this is a powerful event. The summit is May 20th through the 21st at 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just want to make sure I get everything. 2-day summit. You know what? I'm not going to read all of this right now because I want to have a real conversation with Dr. Monica Jackson. This is her baby. So let me bring her on right now. And again, if you're watching from Instagram, thank you so much. Please go over to my YouTube channel. And YouTube, if you're watching, please subscribe and let's have an interactive conversation, because I don't know anyone out there who hasn't experienced some sort of trauma. Big T trauma, little t trauma. And in the Black community, often in a lot of communities, we sweep things under the rug as if it didn't happen or if it's hidden. But what happens is the rug keeps getting lumpier and lumpier and lumpier. Every family member is throwing everything under the rug to the point where you can't even walk on the rug no more. So we're going to talk to Dr. Monica, and then we're going to have my brother come up here, and then we're going to have this well-needed conversation. Dr. Monica Y. Jackson, welcome to Kendéll Lenice Live.
Hello, dear. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am awesome. Doing very well.
You looking beautiful.
Thank you, ma'am. I try to keep up with you.
So as I was reading this is a different Kendéll Lenice Live. Normally I do personal one-on-one interviews, or I do a panel, and I have certain topics and conversation pieces that we have. But this was the first time I did something. Well, one of the first times I did something like this. And as I'm opening up, reading about your panel, about your summit, can you talk about the T4 Summit, Monica, and why you decided to have this? Because I think this is going to be a life-changing event. I really, really do. And I wanted to have you on so you can promote this thing and so you can have people there, because as you know, as a healing coach, I'm all about healing these wounds, but we can't heal them until we have these type of conversations. So tell me why you decided to to go on and have this T4 summit?
Well, thank you so much again for allowing me to be here and our speakers. I I don't know that I invented this event. On February 13th, I was awakened from my sleep about 3 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
literally, with trials, triumphs, truths, and tears. I was given 10 names, 10 topics, and I said, okay, I'm just going to go lay back down, go to sleep. Nope. I had to get that piece of paper, write it down. Everything on there just flowed, all the topics and everything, names of speakers. So I was finally able to go to sleep, and I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
what trials, triumphs, truths, and tears really meant.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I
Mm-hmm.
started reading my notes back, I said, wow, what is this? So I actually reached out to two of the speakers and asked them, because they always do things live and
Mm-hmm.
online. And I said, what do you think about this? And they said, oh my gosh, this is very powerful.
Yeah.
So I wanted somebody to tell me no. Okay, what you talking about, Doc? I was trying to weasel my way out of it. But everyone said yes. All
Yeah.
10 speakers even said yes. Now, a couple of them end up backing out because of different schedules, but
Mm-hmm.
they were all embracing it.
Yeah.
And I, you were talking about family. We try to keep secrets or not talk about certain things because we're trying to protect other people.
Come on.
We're trying to not ruin their reputation, but
Come on.
they have ruined us. They've
Yeah.
harmed us. They
Yeah.
hurt us. And we sit in
Yeah.
silence with these pains.
Yeah.
And then we're told we shouldn't feel this way. But it's okay for them to inflict pain on us. So when I reached out to every single person, I think I'm going to say all of these people I've met on social media. We've
Mm-hmm.
interacted in some way, with the exception of
Mm-hmm.
one speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And
You
so,
met my brother, Dr. Leroy, when I did the panel for authors.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
what's interesting about that is I met you through Aurelia, who
Yeah.
grew up as a little baby, and now she's doing what I taught her to do. So,
Wow, I didn't know that.
yes. So she started her business because
I
of
love it.
one of my courses and my little pamphlet. So I am so proud of her.
Oh, wow. I'm proud of her too. And to be so young. Shout
Yes,
out to Aurelia Wynn. I didn't know that.
yes,
That makes me smile. I love
yes.
her.
So as I started speaking about my wounds more, because I was just embarrassed. I was embarrassed by my own wounds. I was embarrassed and ashamed for feeling the way that I felt. I
Yeah.
was ashamed for feeling angry because growing up in church where, God don't give you the spirit of it, these feelings. I said, well, it didn't matter who gave me those feelings. I have them and I have to deal with them.
Right.
So regardless, but what it was telling me is, okay, some of y'all church folks, I can't be real. I can't talk about my
Well,
realness.
well,
And so it made me start pulling away. And those who embraced me were perfect strangers. It wasn't family. It wasn't my church family. In fact, they're pulling away from me.
church
So,
hurt is something. Church hurt. Church
okay.
hurt.
Well, here's the thing about it. How you go 50 some years and not know about church hurt? That's because people are silent. They're told to be silent. And if people hear me speak, I always say silence kills and speaking heals. And that's what this summit is about. My message, mission, and movement is to unsilence the silence, give voice to the voiceless, and empower individuals to disrupt this debilitating hurt and pain that we did not cause on ourselves so we
Yeah.
can live in peace and joy. And if
Yeah.
that means by ourselves, so be it.
That part. Oh, Dr. Mark, I just want you to know I wear my glasses during Kendéll Lenice Live because I didn't want to be left out with you and Dr. Leroy with the glass crew. So I decided wear my glasses. And I'm going to bring my brother on, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., who is a part of the T4 Summit. Trials, triumph, truths, and tears. May 20th and 21st at 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. I love that you said with a short break to refuel and regroup. That's powerful when you're talking about trauma and you're talking about healing. This is heavy.
Absolutely.
This is heavy. And as I read it earlier in the show, some of the subject matters that you have, this is heavy. But the thing is, I love what you said, Dr. Monica, when you said that silence. Can you say that again about what silence does and what speaking does? Because I want to make sure they caught that.
I said silence kills and speaking heals. And the sad part is, we walk around with these smile on our face and someone say, oh, we didn't know they were hurting like that. We didn't know they were doing that until they pull the trigger or jump out of a building. And we have to learn to care for one another. And that's what this summit is about. I want somebody to know that there's other people who genuinely care, because sometimes the people in your circle, they could give a hoot about you when the crap hits the fan.
Or you don't even feel safe to tell your circle, your inner circle, Absolutely. Or that straight line, whatever you have. Most people, like you said, you were embarrassed to talk about your wounds. So many people are, because they don't want to feel judged. They don't want to feel ridiculed. They don't want to feel like they're the only ones. And unfortunately, when you share and not use discernment and share with certain people, they'll have you pouring out all of your hurt, pain, anxiety, vulnerability, and they'll sit there and look at you, understanding clearly that they're going through the same thing, or they have gone through the same thing. And I think it's fine time for folks to share, to say, hey, you're not alone. This is how I got through it, or I experienced that too, or my sister experienced that, or a friend, to have these open conversations. Before I bring Dr. Leroy on, I just want to talk about some of the things that will be discussed at the summit. So Melinda Pitts, she struggled with mental health. Even as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, mother of 6, includes triplets and 2 with special needs. You have Tara Jones, suffered family trauma at age 11. She's been, certain things you can't say on YouTube, assaulted in that matter that starts with an S, because they'll plug everything, by a close friend at the age of 16. She suffered from also multiple miscarriages. Dr. Leroy, who he'll be on, he told that advancement in the company world would never occur. Experienced financial setbacks through his career. I think all of us can speak to that, especially during COVID. Chandrika Faye, she's questioned Christianity as an ordained reverend after teaching in China, dramatically shifted her perspective. That's good. Eric C. Cannon, he's a widowed single parent of 3, a caregiver, and a bad business partner cost him financially, mentally, and physically. You need them covenant business partners as well. Laquita Parks, I'm not sure how she says it, but crippled for life at age 4 due to a nurse's error, suffers with chronic pain 24/7, 365 days, and she was never compensated. Wow. Then you have Luke Greenhart. He suffered from depression, suicidal at age 7, raised by a mother who was diagnosed with severe schizophrenia. And then we have Dr. Monica, betrayed, deceived, and abandoned by family and church, no longer experiences solace in either. Wow. All right, I want to introduce Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. If you're a subscriber to my channel, he doesn't look unfamiliar to you, and you know him, and you love that he is bold in what he speaks, and he is bold and very transparent about his own life. But I think that we'll even see Dr. Leroy in a different light in this, because I don't remember him talking about this as public. So I'm looking forward to even Leroy. Hey, Leroy.
What's up, good people? What's up, good people? Can you hear me?
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Good to be with you all.
so, Dr.
Hey,
Yes.
Doc.
So Dr. Monica talked. Yeah. I don't know. It sounds like he's lagging a little bit.
Mm.
Can you, Dr. Monica, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think
It
you might
sounds
have a
like Dr.
delay.
It's Monica and I can hear each other.
Yeah, I can hear you all too. I don't, and you all sound, I don't, I think there is a delay.
Okay. So Dr. Leroy, Dr. Monica said that no one said no to her request to be a part of this summit. Tell me why you said yes.
Well, I said yes because of what I look to do when it comes to my to my business and my brand. I look for three things: to enlighten, empower, and impact. If it checks those boxes, those are the things that I look to do because that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that people get taught something, that people get equipped with something, and that it impacts them to want to do something. And that's what this T4 summit will do. It's going to teach you something, it's going to equip you with something, and it's going to impact you to want to do something. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. And this seems like you said right up your alley. I want to talk about that. When we talk about, you said it was in line with my brand, right? I want to talk about that because that's something that is talked about often now. Like, even when people won't share what's going on with them, they're afraid of ruining their brand
Right.
or their reputation, or they don't want people to unfollow them or unsubscribe or not hire them in business, whatever business they're in, because they're afraid if they share truths about them, then they'll be less likely to keep whatever persona, whatever they have going on. Tell me, let's talk about brand for a minute when it comes to being transparent about who you are to help other people.
Well, I think that what people have to understand is this first and foremost. You got to be authentic. You got to be authentic to yourself. And while there are things that you should absolutely say no to, and you want to make sure it fits into who you are as a person, who your business is, and then who your brand is. If it doesn't fit into that, then you say no. I have to decline it. That's not my lane. That's not what I'm about. So, and you shouldn't be afraid to do that. You shouldn't be afraid to do that. Now, those that are afraid that they're gonna lose people or that they're gonna, share too much information about themselves, though, sometimes that gets a little, kind of murky because you got some people that are fake about who they are.
Yeah.
We all know they're fake about, and they wear these masks that they want to have. And because I was watching something on YouTube, and they were talking about this certain celebrity, and they're getting divorced, and everybody was saying, well, or they had gotten divorced, I'm sorry, and everybody seemed to say, well, we didn't know they seemed to be the perfect couple on on TV, on YouTube and Instagram and all this and other. I said, because that's what they showed you what they wanted you to see,
For
as
sure.
opposed to being authentic to who they really were.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people get caught up in that, and especially when you're going through, whether you're going through, a trial, you're going through, you have some tears, and you got to deal with some truths. You got to be
Yeah.
willing to be able to deal with those aspects of who you are, and you got to have core principles that no matter
Yeah.
what, that you're like, no, I can't. It just doesn't fit with who I am, and be
Yeah.
willing to say no to that, no matter what, no matter what.
Yeah. And it's so important to live in your truth. If you look at the banner, as I was doing this, I came up with, Leroy, I come up with my own quotes, but I said, never judge someone's walk because you are not in their shoes. So simple, but how are you going to judge someone's walk when you can't even fit their shoes? because so many people see so many things in a lifetime that just one of the things that somebody may go through, that next person wouldn't even be able to stand a chance. And I truly believe that God makes us and builds us, obviously, because he knows what's going to happen in our lives and what certain people can bear, even if you think you can't bear it, and what others may not be able to bear. When I just keep looking at these 4 T's, trials. Who is going to be in this life and not have a trial? Triumphs. We're not going to have a trial with everything and not have a triumph, at least in 1, 2, 3, 5 things. It's going to be a trial somewhere. Truths. We're not going to have truth within the trial if we admit and be honest with the truths of what's going on in our lives. And I look at tears. The tears are cleansing your soul, your spirit, and allowing you to regroup and re-strategize to figure out what you're doing in your life. So, Dr. Monica, when you said you were awakened with this idea, were you, or at first were you like, well, I don't know about all this. This is going to be difficult.
Well, you know what? I think it kind of broke up. I'm not sure if it's my end or your end, but I have come to learn that when I'm woken up in those strange times of the hour with downloaded information that's extremely clear that I never would have thought about, I'm attributing it to God. Now, I'm saying that's God because that's what I kind of learned. I can't say that I know for emphatically because I'm not going to put words in God's mouth, but I'm saying that I feel that that's where it came from, because there's no way that I would have developed something this clearly, this succinctly. And on February 13th, when this came about, and here we are going to have this in May, we're pre-recording our speakers so that we make sure we get the full impact of their message. Most of our speakers have already been pre-recorded. And so it's so essential for this to take place. It's impacting the speakers as well. They're disclosing things that they've never disclosed. They're finding an additional level of healing that they've never experienced. Because healing is a journey. It's a process. Something may trigger it at some time. We never know what's suppressed. One of our speakers talk about not healed, taking 15 years before she's ever even addressing being the healing process, and not knowing that she was hurting because she sat in silence. You know, it's so if this summit can help somebody to suffer less and triumph sooner, as opposed to going through 14, 15, 20, 30 years, 40 years of feeling like a failure, of why you aren't more successful, why you feel certain things in a relationship, why you can't hold on. That's because there's something you suppress sometimes. And we have to, again, I'm speaking from my own experience. We have, the only way you're going to get wisdom, which is the topic of my book, Wounds of Wisdom, the only way you're going to get wisdom is to go through a wound. Because otherwise, you are not going to want to fix it. You have to.
The only way you're going to get wisdom.
It's impossible to get it any other way. And you can't, and you relate to somebody. Once you've gone through it, it takes you to a level of compassion and empathy, and not judgmental for what someone else has gone through, or opinionated or make assumptions because of your own beliefs and your own belief systems and what you've gone through. So until you've gone through a severely wounded state, you don't really have that level of empathy and compassion for people and understanding, and even just the openness to listen that they have gone through those things and not to discredit it. And we have done that so often because we have been conditioned and taught grown up certain ways, all of us, preconceived ideas. But when you hear what someone else has gone through, you're like, "Ooh, we thank you, Lord, I didn't have that trial. Thank you, Lord, that I made it through my trial and with my sanity and my peace." Because there was a time when I didn't think so. So I am just so encouraged by this. And many of the people that are speaking never spoke about this trial and their tears publicly ever. And it's just very empowering.
Wow. Wow. Leroy, that's powerful. That's powerful, because this shows that this is freeing. This shows to me that it is from God to be able to free people. And you cannot be freed if you don't surrender to whatever happened in your life. Whatever trial, if you don't surrender and to be honest and really share that truth first with yourself, and then to free and to help other people. Leroy, how important is it for you to be able to free yourself with maybe some information that you've been holding to yourself?
You're on mute, Doc.
I say this all the time, that when I'm talking to clients that want to write their book about their life, and about the things that they've experienced. I said, the book isn't just about for it. The book isn't for you. It's for those that have gone through what you've gone through, and so many people feel as if they're the only ones. So when you're able to tell your experience, your truth, and you're able to talk about what it is that you've gone through, um, it allows other people, you free other people by doing that. And the freeing part for me, or for those that'll be speaking, is the therapy that they always, that, and I've heard everybody say this, that when they've written a book or they've talked about their thing, going through it, them being able to talk about it was the healing part for them, because they were able to express what they had been either holding on to, or felt as if, oh, I can't talk about it to anybody. I don't want to. I don't want to. Here's the thing. I don't want to burden other people with my problems, with what I'm going through. And I think that's one of the hardest things, that why people don't share sometimes, because we do. I know I've felt like that too. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't want to burden anybody with what with my trouble. And we feel as if sometimes that they can't, they wouldn't be able to assist anyway. you know so we keep that, and we keep it inside, and we try to say, okay, I'll just deal with it myself. I'll handle it.
Mm.
As I say, that's
Mm.
that's an inside joke with me and one of my closest friends. He and I worked together. We started off in the for this hotel together. This hotel that we opened together, and we had this district manager that was just evil, and I'll say it like that. And she one day, there was a issue at the property, at the hotel, and my buddy was working at one of the other properties at the time, and I'm trying to figure things out, trying to get things, and so I'm calling her, and the only thing she said to me was, handle it. Didn't say, how can I assist, how can I help, what can I do, what do you need. It was, handle it. And so after that, and
Yeah.
he and I talked about it, and I told him what had happened. And then when I'd left the company, he experienced the same thing with her. All she told him was, handle it. So he and I get a laugh out of it now, because we feel like, okay, it doesn't matter what we go through in life. We always have that ringing in our head. Handle it. Just handle it. and it's about figuring out what's going, what's happening. So when you're able to, you talk about that to other people and let them know what you've gone through, then they're able to say, you know what, wow, that I've experienced something like that, and I now can be able to walk through it because I see that you walk through it. So that's the freeing part for me, and why I try to talk about the things that I do talk about, and why this T4 Summit is so important, because people need to understand that it's okay to talk about. And you gotta be careful who you talk to, but it's okay to talk about it.
And you know what? You talking about be careful who you talk to. When I was going through, I didn't care who I talked to, because I had to get this stuff up out of this body of mine, out this head. When strangers asked me how I was doing, I said, I'm going to go there and let me tell you why. And why? Because if I didn't have those strangers, let me tell you, I can't tell you. I walk in the market and somebody said, how you doing? I'm not doing well. Okay. And these are people who have become friends. So sometimes you have to speak it to people who can't judge you, who don't know you. You may never see it again, because you never know what that bond is going to bring. And I'm telling you, when I was going through it, you better not ask me how I was doing.
But you know what? That's the perfect, because you were using discernment. You don't even probably realize that you were using discernment, because God was like, tell that person, or tell the truth when they ask. That's the thing. Tell the truth when someone asks you how you're doing. And if they stick around to listen, you know that you told the right person. Correct. And even if they don't, you had to get it out. And that's when you know you're at that point where you're ready to heal. You don't want to keep it in, because it's extremely harmful.
Yes.
Dr. Monica, you said your truths and trials are your truths and trials, and no, you feel bad about navigating truths and trial. So talk about that a little bit.
Everybody has preconceived ideas, wherever it comes from, whether there's your religious upbringing, whether it's your family upbringing. We all have these things that we think. But we don't know. Some of us just don't know. And whatever you have experienced, I don't care what it is, however you experience, that's your truth. It is your truth, and it is your trauma.
Yeah.
And so you don't ever let anybody tell you, oh, you shouldn't feel that way, or, oh, get over it. You still feeling that way? It may come overnight.
Process.
It may come 20 years from now. However long it takes you to heal, it's on your timeline, not somebody else's. And so, be careful of people that tell you, oh, don't feel that way, or you're not over that yet. You still, I thought you were over that. You never know. And I never would do this. I always tell people, be careful of saying what never, because that never may be just your trial that becomes your testimony.
Woo! Woo! Never. Wow. Because you don't know. Like I say, live long. All the stuff that you said you would never, because you never experienced it. You never know. I remember back in the day sitting in church, and the pastor would say, if you experience this, come to the altar. If you experience that, come to the altar. If you experience that, and you would see people so emotional, running there or crying. And I remember maybe being in my 20s or 30s and be like, dang, I never experienced that. You know what I mean? I didn't feel that overwhelming sensation to cry or to run to the altar, because they said, you experience cancer, or if God saved you from that. And, people are so emotional. But now, yet I'm a colon cancer survivor. I've survived so many different things. So it's like the older people say, long enough. Not to say you're going to experience all of those things, but you never know what God is going to allow you to see through, or what you're going to go through in life. So for some people to say never, you just don't know. And that never might be so loud. God might be like, in about 2 months, I already know what you're about to go through.
Okay.
Absolutely. So Leroy, when you talk about, can you touch a little bit on your financial setback and how you were able to move forward? And do you consider that a trial? Do you consider that, what do you consider that period of time? And if you could share a bit of what you're going to share during the summit.
Well, I'll give
A little
one.
bit.
Um, I'll give one trial, and it began my career moving into coming out of college. You know how you are. You graduating out of college. You think that the world is before you. You're gonna conquer the world. You're gonna be able to do everything. You just have this I am me. Listen to me. You're gonna be able to go into. I had my degree in hotel restaurant management. I was like, I'm gonna take the hospitality industry by storm. I'm gonna do this, and this. I'm gonna own my own hotel eventually. All of these great things. So come out of school, graduate, and I'm expecting to get, how you do. You got the diploma in one hand and you're expecting to have a whole bunch of offers in the other. And that didn't happen.
Except you got debt in this hand. You got a
That didn't
diploma
happen.
and you got debt in this hand.
Right. That didn't happen. And the only position that I was offered coming out of college was being a front desk agent working downtown at the Marriott Hotel, doing the 6 to 2
In
shift,
Baltimore,
6 a.m. to
Maryland.
2 p.m. shift. I was hot, to say the least. I was like, you mean to tell me that I've just spent 4.5 years in college, busted my butt. I did what we were told, go to school, get a good education, do all of those things, and you'll be successful. And at that point, I felt like I wasn't successful. I felt like I was failing from a financial standpoint. I was failing from a educated black man standpoint, because the only thing I can get coming out of school is working at a front desk. Nothing is wrong with it, but I felt like I had the skill set for more. So I was just like, what do you do? What do you do as a 23, 24-year-old young black man coming out of college, trying to find his way? Because you're 23 years old, you don't know nothing. You're trying to figure it out, and you have these ideas and these things, the way that you believe that your life is going to turn out, and the disappointment that came with it, the frustration that came with it. And so you have to, I had to honestly, I had to sit with myself, and I had to say, okay, it is what it is. And that goes to one of the things, and I'll stop there, was talking about know your value and understand your worth. That's why when we talk about people talking about, well, I know my
Yeah.
value, I know my value. Hey, you can know your value all you want to, but understanding your worth and what people are willing to pay you is a totally different thing. So when I hear people talk about that, there has to be this understanding about that. Understanding, knowing, yeah, I had a value that I believed I had, but the industry said, no, this is what we know what you're worth us paying you for. And being able to say, okay, dealing with that,
Yeah.
sitting with that, and then begin to build a strategy on how do you be able to build. And that's what I did. I started to think about, how do I build a career? How do I build a career? Even having to start
Yeah.
as a front desk agent. And truth be told, funny thing is, and that was probably one of the best jobs that I had. We had, me and the crew, we had so much fun. We were always laughing and joking. And this was when This was when they were just opening Camden Yards. This was when it was brand new, spanking new. So it was always packed. The hotel was right across the street from the Camden Yards, and it was always packed. And we would have a ball when we would have a full house, checking in people, and we'd be competing with each other, just making what we did fun. So I enjoyed it, but there was still the underlying, part of it, of the financial aspect of it, that was like, I don't, I believe I'm worth, I believe my value is more. I believe I'm worth more than this. And you take that and you have to build from it. So that's what I did. And that's what I talk about at the summit.
Okay. I love that. Because sometimes you think the trial is the trial when it's really that next position to catapult you to where you needed to be. And oftentimes when we look at certain trials, or we think that they may be trials, they may be just what we need, because it's not life-threatening trial, or it's to kind of to grow you. And now you're Dr. Leroy Kinsey Jr., you know what I mean? But that is the thing. Like, if you come out able to pay your bills, and what is it? You go to college for 4 years, you're promised this, and then you're not, and you can barely take care of yourself. So you're trying to figure this whole thing out. Thank you for sharing. As we wind down, Dr. Monica, when you think about your wounds, and I'm going to let you definitely to talk about your book but when you think about your wounds, quickly, can you tell me, and if you're going to share this, but what was one of your most difficult wounds to even start the healing process?
Oh, wait. My most difficult wound was church wounds. And it was because the foundation and everything I believed in was disrupted, to the point that it took literally my family. It divided the family. The division, that was the hardest thing to come to terms with. I had to establish a new normal, a new belief, deal with the reality of what I thought and what I was taught, and get to a place of knowing. However, the only way I was going to know was to go through that, because I was only simply doing what I was told, doing what I was taught, doing what I learned, not knowing that you're just following what you were taught. So it had to be disrupted. It had to be disrupted. Now, did it have to be disrupted in the manner that it did? It was the only way it was going to have the level of impact. Again, the wisdom comes from the wounds. Now, one thing you said that I still struggle with. There's no way that I can believe anymore that the God that I know now allowed it. There's no way, because it was so harmful. I believe now that because of our choices and because of our free will, we choose to make and walk in certain places. So when people tell me, well, God allowed it, no, because that's not a loving God that would allow his child that he loves to go in that. Now, he's going to help me through that, and he's going to carry me through that. And that's what I discovered. So I had to unlearn.
I agree.
The messed up stuff that I learned. I even went to the school of ministry for 2 years because I was so confused about this Christianity and what I was taught, and just didn't see the life and the living and the examples. So I had to unlearn that. I felt gaslit in the church because I did not retain biblical knowledge and scripture and things, and understand it, interpret it the way that others did. And I felt deficient in that. Okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a deficiency. It was me questioning what I was being taught that was misinformation, deceptive, and manipulating for man's own glory and his story. So I had to, and I tell people, when you experience a trial or a wound, look for the wisdom in that, because you can't change that wound. But guess what? I don't have to stay there. I can find something in that wound that can give me some wisdom, that can give me some strength and courage and power to continue to press forward. Was it easy? Absolutely not. But guess what? You have a choice to sink or swim, live or die. I choose me every time, and I'm going to live to the fullest. And that's what I want people to walk away from this T4 summit. And I'm grateful for every single trial. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful because the wisdom I gained from the wounds. I'm not grateful for those wounds, but the wisdom that came from it. And so I hope anyone's listening can shift their mentality. Yes, woe is me sometimes, but you know what? What did I learn? What can I walk away with? What can I do? What's in my power to do based on that wound? What do I need to let go of? Who do I need to walk away from? That may be a family member, that may be mother, father, sister, brother, all of the above, pastor. Because when you find yourself alone, there is strength that surrounds you to emerge stronger. And it's not because you a strong Black woman.
Dr. Monica.
Don't get me preaching.
Dr. Monica, I'm about to throw my entire computer. I'm about to flip this table over. Let me tell you something. If I can lift this, that was a whole word. I agree with everything that you said. Wow. And some of the choices are the choices that we make that cause the wounds. But even in there, we do serve a mighty God who is going to allow us, even in our mess, even in our choices, to find the wisdom in that. So hopefully we're not making those same choices again. But you have people of authority in churches, in some churches, who do gaslight you, who do say manipulative things to have you confused because you're a better server, if you will, if you're confused and possibly manipulated.
Absolutely.
And the stuff that everything you said, my God, like they say, my God, today. Oh my. So this is some of that right there was so powerful, because I'm speechless right now, because the way that you eloquently talked about that, I know somebody is going to get something from that. I know somebody out there right now has experienced those spiritual wounds and those church wounds. And somebody out there saying, well, I made the choice. I don't want anybody to beat themselves up. Everybody here on the panel, everybody listening, watching. I even talk about it in my latest book about choices, right? We've all made choices that we can look back. Hindsight is 2020. We can look back and say why, how, but there's wisdom even in why you make the choices that you make when you make them, to be able to grow from that. So everybody, if you are watching tonight or the playback live or the playback, if you're watching on Instagram, if you're watching on YouTube, I think that you should get your tickets to the Summit. It's about trials, triumphs, truths, and tears. You can get drmonicajackson.com. I want you to, Dr. Monica, quickly tell folks about your book and why they should come to the summit, why they should attend.
Well, let me start with that part of it. Why you should come to the summit. First of all, I'm sure you heard something today that was inspirational. This is only 2 of the speakers. We have total of 8 speakers. So just imagine that. Even if the topic is not your topic, if you weren't abused in a certain way, there's still something you can walk away and be encouraged by. Now, my book is Wounds of Wisdom. One of the things that the summit is $79. When you register, you get to choose 2 books from our speakers as part of your registration. That's included. Plus, you get a resource directory and access to every single speaker. So, it's worth it. You can't go sit on anybody's couch and get what you're going to get coming to this summit. And you can sit from the comfort of your home, so you don't have to be embarrassed. Anybody that, we didn't know, you had that trial. We didn't know, you can cry, scream, leap for joy in your own space. So, and you're going to have access to the summit material for an entire week afterwards. So if you can't attend live, and after each session, you'll have a live Q&A with each speaker. If you can't attend live, you have access to review it for 1 week. So if some information or topic is so overwhelming,
love that,
you have time. Plus, we're going to have a break. We're going to have a lunch break. So you're going to get refueled and renewed. So you can come back and get some more.
You can wipe those tears, because I'm sure somebody's going to be crying during this. I love that. How can people get your book, Dr. Monica?
As I said, if they register for the summit, you can choose my book as one of the books. And, Dr. Leroy's book is offered.
So she's saying, so Dr. Monica is saying, I want you to buy my book, yes, but I want you and I need you to come to the summit. And then with the 2-for-1, you can get my book. That's it right there.
That's it.
I love that. I got you. I got you. I love you. How can folks get your book, your latest book? You got so many. How can they get in touch with you if they more your story, or if they want to connect with you business wise?
Just go to my website. You
guys go to drmonica.com. You can hear all about Dr. Monica's summit, her book, how you can, because she is a coach, she's an author, she's a speaker, she's a consultant, she's all of those good things. Dr. Leroy, same for you. How can they get in touch with you?
Well, first I'm gonna add this to her list of things that she does. She's also a master guru marketer. If y'all ain't seen Dr. Monica on on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, then y'all can't be on those social media sites, because she has been everywhere. She has been talking about this conference because she wants people to be better. And I love that. And that was one of the things as well, Kendéll, that reasons why I said yes, was because I see her passion. I see how she wants to make people better. And I love that. I'm of the being around people that want to see people be better. So, in that frame, if you want to be better, then you certainly want to go and register to be at this conference. Because I promise you, you're not going to come away. You're not going to be the same after the conference or the summit than you were before the summit. And that's one of my things that I'm about. Yeah, anybody that's listening to me say, I want to make you better by the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year. And the only way that you can do that, one of those ways that you can do that, is be at the T4 Summit. But people can connect with me through my link tree, http:// link linktr.ee/JNF Enterprises. And like Dr. Monica said, you can also get one of my books. I got this. I meant to show this to you too. Dr. Monica already saw it, but I got my fresh batch of my book, The Power of Man, which is one of the things that I talk about. That I talk about some of this finance, but I talk about the power that we have as men and as women in our finance, and how do you go from having that setback to being successful. So that's how people can connect with me. I'm on social media, Instagram, Dr. LJ Speaks, Facebook, JNF Enterprises, and my name, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. On LinkedIn, Dr. Leroy McKenzie, and YouTube, JNF Enterprises or Dr. Leroy McKenzie.
And those who are listening or tuning in, who've already registered
I love that.
Those who've already registered, let me just say one thing. Those who already registered for the summit, Dr. Leroy just showed his book. He just got them in. So I did send everyone an email letting you know that they would be delayed. So now you know he will be shipping them out. So you don't have to worry about where's my book. It's coming.
They coming.
They coming. Okay.
They want the power, Dr. Monica. They want the power.
This has been amazing, and I'm looking at you all, Dr. Monica and Dr. Leroy, and I'm claiming that God is going to give me my honorary doctorate because
okay.
I need that. You know, I love it. I want to be Dr. Kendéll Lenice, so we're going to speak that into to existence. I love you all for being obedient and being of service, because this is the type of thing that we need to pass on. These are the type of jewels that we need. By getting a house, passing that down, that's wonderful, and money, that's amazing, and cars, that's fantastic. But passing the legacy down of healing, and to be able to call a thing, like Iyanla says, or to be able to pull that rug up, or to be able to have the words to be able to express what we're feeling inside. These are the type of events that save lives. So I thank you so much for that. And I thank you for being a part of Kendéll Lenice Live, the panel. And I definitely wanted to do my part to support you in this, because I believe in it. So thank you so much, Dr. Monica Y. Jackson, and Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, lady.
Thank you.
Thank you. Remember, you go to drjackson.com to get your tickets and find out more about the T4 Summit. That's trials, triumphs, truth, and tears. This is Kendéll Lenice, the Remix Coach. Remember, you are a star. Don't allow anyone to dim your shine. And it's never too late to remix your life at any stage, age, or phase. You can do that. And most importantly, it's not too late to start this healing journey. All right. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and please share this. This is going to inspire someone. If you feel someone needs to hear this message, share this and make sure you get your tickets. All right. Good night, everybody.